day I don't even know anymore. 60th of this blatantly fraudulent election. I wait and wait as we watch them recount the fraudulent Chinese counterfeit ballots.
量不是问题，主要是那个，只要你那个钱到位，那量不是问题，都可以。
因为它那个油墨油那个印刷的是不一样的。
刷不一样。
对啊，因为你仔细看一下，它那个选票的那个印刷是不一样的。
那个没关系，我会看着那个图片来做这边。
然后到时候你们这边发物流的话怎么发？因为我这边订的话就是大量的订。
大量订那个发物流的话，一般好像也比较好，物流比较慢。
发国际可以吗？
我看一下，发国际好像是也是走物流啊。
可以走是吧？
The fraudulent, blatantly fraudulent election. The fraudulent recounts continue as they count the fraudulent Chinese counterfeit ballots, which have now been confirmed, snuck through the northern and southern borders on the day. The Hammer scorecard.
For the United States. He said if you expand mail-in voting, this is the president.
This is,
it's reckless.
Well, this is a, sort of cheap talk to get around the fundamental problem, which is the bipartisan commission chaired by Jimmy Carter and James Baker said back in 2009 that mail-in voting is fraught with the risk of fraud and coercion.
But since then,
and until this
haven't proved it.
Let me talk.
Yeah, please.
And since that time, there have been in the newspapers, in networks, academic studies saying it is open to fraud and coercion. The only time the narrative changed is after this administration came in.
The question is, are the Democrats stealing votes in Philadelphia? My answer is the Pope Catholic? It's a time-honored tradition in big Democrat-controlled cities like Chicago, my hometown.
But elections that have been held with mail have found substantial fraud and coercion. For example, we indicted someone in Texas, 1,700 ballots collected from people who could vote. He made them out and voted for the person he wanted to. Okay? Because that kind of thing
over and over in the sworn testimonies of the patriots. Continues waiting for the smoking gun to bring forth the last gun salute, a new Independence Day.
Out in the state of Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, 148 absentee or mail-in ballots. You received back 1.4 million approximately. However, in the count for president, you counted 2.5 million. I don't know what accounts for that 700,000 difference between the number of ballots you sent out and the number of ballots that ended up in the count. That number, 2,589,242, was on your government website until yesterday. And yesterday it was removed without explanation. I'm going to be very interested in hearing what the explanation is. And I can't imagine you could possibly certify without knowing the explanation to that, as well as the explanation to the 22,686 mail-in ballots that were returned on the day they were mailed. That's a trick. How about they were returned? How about 32,591 were returned the day after they were mailed? Another 20,000 were returned before.
Watching the never-ending testimonies of the patriots. Hearing the cries of the mother as their offspring Maoist enforcement arm drags them out of the blatantly fraudulent election. Many 30 years on the job, intimidated, abused, manhandled, assaulted, strictly trying to exurb them count the fraudulent, counterfeit Chinese.
Were you told not to let this particular group in?
There's 3 people that can go in because us 3 are coming out, so 3 people can go in. How about that?
He hasn't been doing that. No. Whoever comes out, he doesn't let people in.
Can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots. Already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Now we can finally breathe.
Already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
That's my true feeling. Yeah.
Fucking thing sucks.
Already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album.
Already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
Well, I'm really supposed to believe that the only politician on camera saying the N-word in a derogatory way got more presidential votes than the first ever black president? Not buying it.
Unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
My Democratic colleagues don't like me saying this. I think the two-party system is good for the South, it's good for the Negro, good for the black. And other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind.
They're gonna put you all back in
To hear you talk about the reputation of two United States senators who built their reputation and career on the segregation of race in this country. I think guys
as the freedoms, God-given rights go down the drain once and for all, never to be returned into a global enslavement, waiting for the cowardice to leave as Congress needs to reclaim their rightful place as the protectors of its people, releasing us from this tyranny, this draconian lockdown, draining forth the last remaining free market wealth, distributing it back to the world government, giving it back to the people that printed it once timed out of thin air. We are now backed by nothing. We are feasting on the tea leaves and the grassroots of what is left of our once great nation, waiting for the sound of a one gun so we can salute to the new Independence Day before we reach our final demise.
It's not designed to be directly democratic. The Constitution calls for states to choose the presidential electors, who in turn gather to vote for the president. Over time, states have passed laws that ensured their state's popular vote for the presidency would determine the electors.
Are you talking to me? Walk on home, boy.
Day 1 grillion of the 79 days of hell. As we are drowning in the Red Sea, the red wave, not of Congress, but of the Chinese communist takeover of our once free country. The land of the free and the home of the brave is now the Maoist headquarters. not only infiltrating the minds of the youth, but the media and our technological, intellectual space, going on our once great YouTube in English, bragging of our soon demise, starvation, slow death, a product of the COVID-19 Operation Lockstep operation to enslave us all into a technocracy.
Turns out that China is going to overtake the United States in 2027. It was said this might be delayed for a year or two, but this year God has pulled off a little trick, right? God created COVID-19 and spread it to every country in the world. The COVID-19 pandemic is like a test for all the countries in the world. This test is biased though. COVID-19 is bad for Europe and America.
But it is beneficial for North Korea and China. That is why North Korea is number 1 in the global fight against the pandemic, and China is number 2. North Korea has 0 infections, right? 0? So the system is good. So this system can do it. Our system is good, but not as good as North Korea's. We still have 4,000 dead, right? But 4,000 dead versus 220,000 dead in the United States. We haven't really lost a single person, have we? We're close to 0 infections and 0 deaths. If 4,000 people out of 1.4 billion people die, that's the same as no one getting sick and no one dying. In the global economy, China stands out. We are ahead of schedule in terms of overtaking the United States. There will be no problem reaching this goal in 2027. The US will not survive. We have struggled for more than a decade. In 2012, we achieved superiority over the US and Japan in the Taiwan Strait, but not in the world. We have gained absolute superiority over the US military. We are expanding our military at a rate unprecedented in human history, as long as 1.4 billion Chinese people eat, sleep, defecate, and urinate, and get up and work every day will drive the United States to its death. In any case, China's development cannot be resisted or stopped. As long as one thing doesn't happen, who would mess up China's own internal affairs and cause China to disintegrate, then no one will be able to resist our own development.